All right. So I was raised a Southern girl, and Southern girls are taught to be nice, right? So it wasn't until I was a whole lot older that I realized that being nice and being kind are not necessarily the same thing. So it's What If Wednesday. And today we're going to talk about the difference between being nice and being kind. So today has been inspired by a question that came from a member of our What If Up community. And the question that came to me was this. She said, do you have any good tips or resources on forgiveness? She says, I lost it big time yesterday and I'm still feeling horrible. This is a personal space issue. It happens about once a year. So awesome question. I know the feeling. Have you ever just like, lost it and things bubble up so much and you just kind of lose it? So the question was about forgiveness, but what if there's actually something deeper going on? So what if we could be a little less concerned with being nice and really learn what it means to be kind? So if you've got ideas, thank you for watching. It's great to see you all. I love hearing from you. So as you're here, check in. I love your hearts. I feel you. Let me know who's here. Share your ideas, share your possibilities, share your what ifs with me on this What If Wednesday. If you're not a member of the What If Up Club, if you're watching on our Facebook page, today is your day. Join. Just go to whatifup.org and you can sign up and you can get connected with other members in our Facebook community and ask questions. Who knows? Maybe some What If Wednesday, I'll be talking about a question you pose. So it is What If Wednesday. I am Mindy Audlin. I am the author of the book, What If It All Goes Right, and the founder of the What If Up Club. I was on the road last week down in Texas. So shout out to all my Texas friends up here in Northern New York. I'm back home. While I was away, it rained and rained and rained. It's springtime. It's beautiful. You can see everything's green behind me. And when I came back, my garden was overrun with weeds, tons and tons of weeds. So I have spent a lot of the last week, whenever I need a break, I'll go outside and I will pull some weeds. Now, the thing that's happened here, because there's also been a lot of rain and it's springtime in Northern New York, there's also a lot of bugs, particularly mosquitoes. And they don't really bother me when I'm out hiking around and moving, but when I'm just sitting in the woods gardening, the mosquitoes have been, as you can probably see, they have been intense. So I've had this issue with trying to garden, and I know that here's where my mind goes first when I have all these mosquitoes swarming around me. I know that only female mosquitoes will bite me, right? So the male mosquitoes, they don't bite. It's only the female mosquitoes, and they only bite because they need to. Yeah, it's kind of gross, but they need the blood for their eggs. So as a mom, as a woman, I have a little bit of compassion. Like, I get it. I get why they're like, ooh, mammal, we must go grab a bite of that. I get it. And there's a part of me that's like, I get crazy hormonal too sometimes, It's like I can kind of relate, as sometimes it's like you need your thing and I need my thing. And I get that I've got something you need. So I have this compassion piece of me that just wants to say, okay, fine, but not fine because you're biting me, I'm waking up with bites all over myself. So it could be nice to say, I'm just going to suck it up. I'm just going to not do anything and smile and say, it's okay. I understand, and not do anything to protect myself. So I did spend about a fraction of a second there having some compassion for the mosquitoes. And then, it's like that buzzing that buzzes around my head. I'm like, okay, it is time to maybe not be quite so nice. So then I have this talk. I'm like, come on, mosquitoes, cut me some slack here. I'm just trying to weed my flower bed. So I have the conversation. And I really think that that's maybe the difference between being nice and just suck it up and smile versus being kind, where you say, hey, this is bothering me. You need to stop. And I did have this conversation with the mosquitoes out in my yard. I'm like, can you cut me some slack here? It's too much. You need to back off. I think it's kind to have those conversations when we're feeling frustrated. And then I hear the bzz, bzz. In fact, there's one in front of me right now. There's one in front of me. They're like mosquitoes. It's just the season, and it's wet, and they're everywhere. So then I get to where I'm like, okay, I gave you fair warning, and then I'm out there, and I'm just like, swat, 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 swat. And even though I may catch a couple mosquitoes every now and then, what I find is 90% of the time, I'm just like, just beating myself up, literally out there, beating myself up like this to try to get the mosquitoes. So I'm like, okay, this strategy of, I'm just, if you're going to do that to me, I'm going to do this to you. An eye for an eye, a swat for a swat, it doesn't lead anywhere. I mean, sure, I could go out into my yard and I could put pesticides everywhere, but then I got to live in that. And it's my vegetable garden. It's like, I don't want to just go decimate them all. It's like they're part of an ecosystem here. And I respect that. At the same time, I'm ending up with bites all over me. So here is sort of the aha where we're going today is talking about, okay, so there's being nice, there's being kind. And then there's also this other thing of, I'll give you my visual aid. So I went shopping. Thank you, Amazon. Here's what I found. Boom. Yes. So what if this is really just about setting healthy boundaries? Like, here's my space. This is a bug net. This is actually what people wear here when they're gardening in northern New York. It keeps the bugs out. Like, this is my space. And you can do, Mr. Mosquito, actually Ms. Mosquito, you can do whatever you want to do outside of my personal space. But once you're in my personal space, like, this is my space and you are not invited into this space. So if you've ever been in that situation where you have someone or something and it's just like been boiling up, you've been letting it slide, smile and nod, smile and nod. That's what I was taught is just, just tolerate it, let it go, be nice. I learned from one of my mentors a long time ago. He gave me this acronym. He said, Mindy, NICE, NICE. You know what that stands for? He said that stands for nothing inside cares enough. And that was a paradigm shift for me, that every time I'm just like smiling and like, okay, just let it go. Just let it go. Don't say anything. Just let it go. Thinking that I was being nice, that that's the nice thing to do, that it was really just that nothing inside of me cared enough to have the difficult conversation that is going to change things. To me, that's what kindness is. It's not nice to have someone who is doing something that is bothering you and not to even let them know. I mean, I've been in relationships like this, where I've been in partnerships where my partner is doing something that is annoying me and bothering me. And rather than having the conversation and dealing with maybe a little bit of a difficult, uncomfortable conversation, that it builds up and builds up and builds up until some little thing causes me just to explode. So I've learned since then that the reason I'm exploding is because when you bury your feelings, you bury them alive and they will find a way out. So what if instead of thinking that we're being nice by not rocking the boat, what if we learn to be kind? What if we really allow love to express? And what love does is love communicates, and love says, hey, I have a boundary here. And the way we're interacting right now, that boundary has been crossed and we need to do something about it. What if we can recreate, co-create our relationship so that your needs are being met and my needs are being met? You're getting what you need and I'm getting what I need, and that neither one of us are annoying or frustrating or causing the other any kind of discomfort. You know what I mean? So what if that is actually the kind thing to do? What if those conversations grounded in love are actually the kind thing to do? And if we don't do that, what we end up doing is swatting at each other. And that's that's not the kind thing to do. That's not what love would do. So what if we have those conversations? And what if, even if those conversations don't lead where we want them to lead, that we know that we can set our boundaries, that we can choose who we want to be in relationship with, and we can distance ourselves from others if they do not respect those boundaries. So the follow-up, when I responded to this message from one of our members. So again, what she had asked originally was, she said, "Do you have any good tips or resources on forgiveness?" Because she lost it in a situation. She said it happens every now and then. Of course, it happens every now and then. If we don't have a way to express, eventually, it's like a geyser. It's like, oh yeah, every now and then it just explodes. It's because it builds up, builds up, builds up, and then explodes. But what if we had a healthier way to not let those things build up? What if we could learn to talk to each other in kindness, and to know that those conversations, even when they're difficult, even when we're telling people something they don't necessarily want to hear, that is the kind thing to do, because it allows us to grow together. So I asked, do you want to learn about forgiveness for you, or is this for the other person? And this person said it's for both. And she actually said that she was listening to Abraham Hicks about love, and that Abraham said, letting go of the discordant thoughts that separate you from source is what forgiveness is. And she said, how do we let go? How do you let go of the discordant thoughts? And to me, those discordant thoughts, those thoughts that, hey, you're biting me and it hurts, it's like, that's an experience that I'm having, that I could just let go of that and keep getting bitten. Or I could say, my discomfort is guiding me to take the inspired action of doing something different, of setting a boundary. And you can do that without swatting, without splattering, killing mosquitoes. We can do that in a way that is as simple as having the conversation, being clear on what our boundaries are. And then if that doesn't create the result that we're looking for, we come to our What If Up community. We say, hey, here's what I'm trying to create. Here's what I've tried. What other ideas do you have? And what if it's as simple as that? What if it's as easy as speaking to each other? What if our relationships grow stronger when we have the courage to speak to each other in love and kindness, even if those things aren't necessarily things that we want to hear? So that is the possibility. And I'd love to hear, what do you think is possible? What are your ideas? What are your possibilities, your what ifs, your ideas, your insights, your stories about setting boundaries? And to me, it's like, I hold no grudge against those mosquitoes. I have forgiven them. And at the same time, I'm not inviting them to do this again, right? So I've got the boundary now. I've got the way that I have changed in this relationship so that we can coexist together. In fact, as I'm looking out my window, I'm seeing all the robins outside, and they're grabbing the worms and they're eating the bugs. I've got a hummingbird feeder here. They eat the mosquitoes. By allowing them to be in my yard, I'm providing an abundant feast for all of the birds and the I don't know, the critter, the butterflies, and I don't know what eats insects. Lots of things do. So they are well fed. And I know and I trust that nature will bring it all into balance. In the meantime, I've got my boundaries. I've got my strategy, and I've got my way of being able to be in this world, and to be at peace and to get the things that I need. So thank you for joining. I love seeing your ideas, your possibilities. If you're not in our What If Up group, I invite you to join us at whatifup.org and share what's coming up for you. What are you stepping into? What does being nice mean to you? What does being kind mean to you? And what could you do? What's an inspired action you could take this week to put these ideas into motion? So thanks for joining. I hope you have a great What If Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you next time right here in the What If Up Club. Bye, everybody.